Welcome to Afterlife Cafe TV, connecting hearts, healing souls, and bridging worlds. I'm your host, Helen Peacock, and this is your sacred grounds, a warm, welcoming space where you're invited to take a seat, exhale, and just be. Each week, we will gather cafe style for heartfelt conversations, some mediumship, and maybe some intuitive insights and soulful storytelling that explore the afterlife, some healing, grieving, and the unbreakable bond between us and those in spirit. Here, laughter and tears are both welcome. Love transcends time, and spirit meets us in the most human of ways. So if you're seeking comfort, connection, or a deeper trust in your own inner knowing, you're in the right place. So pour yourself something warm and let's begin. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. And if you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning guest, then welcome back. And I'm super excited about this beautiful human that I have in front of me. His name is Kwesi Millington, and he's a former RCMP police officer who has overcome some struggles professionally as well as personally, dealing with mental challenges such as PTSD and depression. He is now traveling internationally. Yes, I've been following him as a professional speaker and a coach, and he's teaching young people and high stress organizations how to avoid burnout and also build mental health and cultivate resilience and in their lives. So welcome, Kwesi, and I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. Honored. Thank you.
Now, you have a very interesting story, and I know that you've been sharing your story all over the globe, mostly in the US, I've noticed. California was the most recent.
Yeah.
And if you would mind just like diving in right away, how your life just basically took a turn while being an RCMP officer. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, sure. We'll start right into it. That sounds good to me.
Like before all this happened, right? Do you want to
Yeah.
walk us through the moment that your life changed forever?
Yeah, okay, I can do that. I can definitely do that. So yeah, first of all, as you mentioned, my background is in policing. I never thought I was going to be a police officer. It wasn't one of those things that I dreamed this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. They have those stories of the 5-year-old kid that's like, I'm going to be a police officer. That wasn't
Mm-hmm.
me. It was on a whim. I became an officer at 28 years old, and I thought after starting that that is what I'm going to do for the rest of
Mm-hmm.
my professional life. 25 years, I had it planned out. I knew where I was going to go. About 2 years in, I was transferred from Richmond, British Columbia. So I started with the RCMP across the country. I live in Toronto, but I was transferred to Richmond, just outside Vancouver. And a couple of years in, I was transferred to Vancouver Airport. And one night on a shift, I get a call, and the call comes in. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. There's a man who's breaking airport property, destroying uh, computers, and needs to be apprehended, basically. So myself and three other officers, we head up to the international arrivals area, and we see him standing there. And as I approach him, a couple of things I noticed. Number one, I noticed that there was stuff thrown around, so definitely he's the guy that they had called about. And as I approached him, I hear someone say, I don't know who it was, he doesn't speak English. And for some reason, I heard that. And we've all met people that don't speak our language before.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to communicate with him basically using universal hand signals,
Yep.
like opening a book,
Mm-hmm.
pen, mime, passport, all things that I think anybody, no matter if they understand English or not, are going to understand. And I think, okay, he's going to grab his paperwork. We're going to figure this out. And that'll be the end of it. But he instead turns around and he grabs what we call in policing a weapon of opportunity. He just picked up a stapler,
Okay.
fist in one hand, fist in the other, and we're in a fight to get him under arrest. And physical altercations or fighting is nothing new to police
Mm-hmm.
officers, so we unfortunately had to get him under arrest. Part of that was I used a taser on him. We got him down, got handcuffs on him, got him under control. So far, it's like other calls I've dealt with. You get physical with someone and you get them
Mm-hmm.
under arrest and you figure things out. Unfortunately, everything changed a couple minutes after we got him under arrest. I hear my partner on the radio say, he's turning blue. We need EMS. We need ambulance. We need people to attend to him right away. Ambulance arrives, EHS, paramedics, fire, and they start working on him. And when I say working on him, they are checking for vitals. I
Mm-hmm.
see the defibrillator come out. And a few minutes later, I hear the three words no officer ever wants to hear:
Mm.
time of death. In that moment, unfortunately, he died of heart failure after arrest. Now, there were things that were going on that I didn't understand before dealing with him. I didn't know that he was exhibiting what's called excited delirium. It's a condition where your heart rate is elevated and there's things going on inside of you that can compromise your heart when someone arrests you. I didn't know that he had a weakened heart. I didn't know he had some other conditions going on. And unfortunately, he died. Now, there was a guy recording the incident the whole time. He was on the public side of the
Mm-hmm.
airport. He recorded the whole incident. He eventually sold his footage to every news station he could get paid by, and it ended up blasted all over the country. And at the time, it didn't matter to me because I gave statements. I was told internally, hey, listen, you did what you were trained to do. And, sometimes you do the right thing and things go wrong. That's what happens. I was cleared of any wrongdoing by not only our police force, but other police force looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Lawyers in British Columbia looked at it. So I figured, you know what? I'm going back to work. So I do. I go back to work. And a couple of years later, 2 years now after
Two
that
years
happened,
after.
2 years after, I have to testify as to what I did that night. And Helen, I always say this: if someone asked you for all the details of something you did 2 years ago, would you forget some things?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you wouldn't forget the major details. I didn't
No.
forget that I went in there. I didn't forget
Yeah.
that I tased him, but little things that I made mistakes on, little discrepancies that were accidental that I made in my statements when I testified. Those were called deliberate lies, right? So I was accused of lying deliberately to cover up what happened. There's no reason that I would have done that. Like I said before, I was cleared of doing anything
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I was told that I did everything right. I was back to work. I just figured I'm going to go testify at this inquiry, do the best I can, go back to work. I figure it's done. I go home from testifying after 3 days. Um, and I'm at home a few months later and I go check the mailbox. There's a letter waiting for me, and the letter says, Kwesi Millington, you've been charged with perjury. So I was charged criminally, not for anything I did at the airport,
Perjury.
but for lying about what I said I did at the airport, even though those were accidental mistakes. So I hope we're following the timeline here because it can get a little confusing
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. You go to the incident, you testify about it, you're charged with lying about what you say happened. I've never lied, but I was still charged with perjury. A judge saw it differently. He convicted me and sentenced me to 2.5 years in prison.
2.5.
2.5 years in prison. In Canada, you have to serve a third of your sentence, no matter if you're good behavior or not. So 2.5 years equates to 30 months. I eventually spent 10 months in the Canadian correctional system and I lost my career. So my
Mm.
career ended. I still remember the date, December 12th, 2017. That was the day that I got my paperwork saying that I was discharged, aka fired from the RCMP. So that was 2017. And since then, I've been kind of figuring out what's next in life. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's my background. That's what I used to do. Now I have trying to use that going forward to make more of a positive impact with what I've learned, what I've gone through to help other people.
Wow, that's amazing. I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard this is the first time I've heard your like full story about that. So thank you again for sharing that.
Yeah,
But
yes.
and how was it for you like when everything was stripped away? Like that's your career, that's your identity. Like what was your hardest part through that whole process? Like once you served your sentence, where did you move? Like how did you move forward from that?
Yeah, no, I mean, how did I move forward? What was the hardest part? Like, if I think of those questions kind of separately, I guess the hardest part you mentioned identity.
Yeah.
As in policing, it's I think a little bit different than a lot of other careers. You do wrap your identity up in what you do as a first
Mm-hmm.
responder, right? Police, fire, certain other careers as well. And so I was a police officer, right? So it was almost like there was Kwesi the police officer. I kind of wrapped
Mm-hmm.
myself up into that. So the hardest part was trying to figure out who am I outside of that.
Yep.
And that was a challenge for me. And I remember I was in when I was inside, if you will, everybody has to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And my job ended up being as a prison tutor. So I went to the school and I was an English tutor. I
Oh,
helped some of, so I worked in the school and some of the inmates in there, you can get your high school diploma when you're in prison. So a
okay.
lot of guys, they say about 70 to 80% of prison inmates in Canada don't have a high school diploma. I do. So I
Yeah.
ended up tutoring a lot of the guys that helped some of them write their parole board letters. And by the time I walked out of those prison doors, that helped about 30 inmates, over 30 inmates, get their high school diplomas. And that was something that was enriching to me. But what I learned from that is the teacher that was inside, he had a master's degree, he was always well dressed, and he used to tell me that he loved being in there, even though I know he could have taught anywhere,
Yeah.
because he wanted to help some of those guys get out so they never came back. And he always told me, "This is why I do what I do. This is why I do what I do." And that why stuck with me. And so when I think of my identity and the hardest part of kind of getting through everything was figuring out, okay, why did I become a police officer?
Mm-hmm.
And can I hold on to that going forward? So I became a police officer to help other people, right? And it
Yep.
sounds very cliche, but that's why I did it. I did it because I did it also because I didn't want to work a 9 to 5 under a cubicle and lights. I wanted to work outside and help people and do different
Mm-hmm.
things every day. And I figured, okay, how can I do that? How can I help people in a different environment? And by sticking to that as opposed to the policing career, I was able to forge a new identity because I know, okay, I can't be a police officer anymore, but I can still help people in other ways. So I got back into personal training. And then eventually now what I do is I'm a speaker and I'm a coach.
And where do you do most of your speaking?
Yeah, so what, yeah, most of my speaking is with either two main markets, first responders or frontline workers, anyone who deals with, um, you know, first responder, law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
health and safety, those types of people, or with young people. I end up in the education space. I work with K to 12 and college and university students. The topic is the same: mental health, resilience, overcoming challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the people that I speak to.
And there's one thing that you had mentioned to me. It's like your mission. And I put that in the title of the show. It's not your reality, it's your response that matters. Can you expand on that?
Yes, and I'd love to say that brilliant line is mine.
Yeah,
It's
I
not your
love
reality,
it.
it's
I
your
absolutely love
response.
it. Yeah.
I use it now, and I kind of altered a little bit of what my mother used to say, but it's my mother's line.
Mm,
I come from a single parent home.
oh, okay.
My dad left when I was 5, and Helen, we've known each other for a while, but now you're like
Yeah.
getting to know me, right?
Yes, I am.
So my dad left when I was 5, and my mom was never bitter about it. She never took him to court. She never did some of the things you might expect someone to do. Like he cheated on her. He had a child with another woman. There's a big
Mm,
whole young and restless story behind that. But I'm aging myself with Young and the Restless, eh? Uh,
I used to
but
watch it. Guilty.
yeah, okay, fair enough, fair
Back
enough.
in high school.
Yeah. We all used to watch it. That and Days of Our Lives was my other one I used to watch. But anyways, and so she never did any of those things that you might think someone that has been, hurt like that might do. And years later, I sat down with her and I'm like, Mom, you were never bitter. You encouraged me to have a relationship with Dad. How did you do it? And she said, I chose not to be bitter.
Chose.
And that was her choice, right? She chose
Mm,
not to be bitter. She's always reminded me of that, even when I went through what I went through. You can choose to be bitter at the RCMP. You can choose to be bitter at everything that happens, or you can move on. And she said, you're going to be facing things that are unfair, unpredictable, and uncontrollable in your life. But she said, it's not your reality that matters. It's your response. And
exactly.
she said that years before any of this policing stuff happened, years before I even became a police officer. So um, I held on to that, and now I share that as kind of my mission to remind the people that I speak to. that no matter what you're going through, and it applies to everybody. For police officers, it's not your reality. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the reality of the fact that maybe you didn't get the promotion or something happened that you wish didn't happen or personal relationship didn't go the way you wanted it to. With students, it's not the test that you failed. It's not, the girl that dumped you. It's not the reality of the fact that maybe your parents don't support the dream you will have in your life. It's how
Mm-hmm.
you respond to it that matters. So the tagline really applies no matter what age I'm speaking to.
No matter what age. Oh, I like that. Because I did see some videos of you mostly like with students. How do they
Yeah.
respond to you when you're up there doing your thing? Like you must feel so supercharged just knowing that you get to share your story. How do the students actually respond to that for you?
Yeah, and my story that I share with students is a little bit different. I mean, what I just told you forms the bulk of what I share with first responders, but with students, I like to kind of go back to their world. So I actually share about a small, very small percentage of my whole story with the students in my 1 hour
Okay.
keynote that I do with them. But I talk more about the things I've gone through when I was their age, failing in school, having a crush on a girl, not university, trying to get in, like all the things that I went through when I was their age, to make it, even more applicable to them. I do share parts of my story, but to answer your question, there's nothing like standing in front of, hundreds or even thousands
Mm-hmm.
sometimes of, young people that, they're not sure about you at first, but then you share with them and then they share with you. Sometimes they cry,
Yeah.
sometimes they share things they haven't shared with a lot of people, and it creates some special moments.
I love that. I love the fact that you're planting seeds, right? You're planting
Yeah,
seeds with them, and then it's up to them what they're going to do with your story, whatever it is that you share to help them move forward on their journey.
yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer, like what you think becomes your reality. I'm huge on that. So it's
I know
planting the
you are.
seeds very much so. You create your own reality just by your thoughts alone and the things that you choose. But it's also understanding that, everything happens for a reason, obviously. And you wanted to be of service, you wanted to help others. It just kind of it came about it in a different way.
Yeah,
And you did help others inside an actual prison. Like, how amazing is that, to make a difference for those who did something wrong, if they were charged wrong or committed something, but the fact that you also helped them to get a high school diploma, even that alone,
yeah. It is rewarding, and especially
very
because
rewarding.
a lot of them were kind of guarded at first when,
Mm-hmm.
they pretend they don't want it, right? They come into the
Oh, they gotta,
school
gotta
and
come
they're
in all
like,
nice and tough.
whatever,
Yeah.
I gotta do this
Play
education
the
and I gotta
part.
get this degree. But then, when it's time to graduate, they're like, yo, when am I getting that diploma? So
The
you can see the pride when they
ah.
actually come back and know they've gotten it and they've earned it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a special thing there too. Yeah.
So going back to Kwesi, to you,
Yeah.
okay? Because I want to come back to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Did forgiveness become part of your healing journey? Or is forgiveness, would you say, overrated?
I don't think forgiveness is overrated because
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
think
some
that,
people might think,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
just forgive. But I believe it's who you are. And that's a
yeah,
huge part of our human existence, I believe,
yeah,
is forgiving ourselves first. Um, Even forgiving the judge. How about
yeah,
that one?
yeah. No, definitely. There's a lot of elements there, like forgiving. I mean, there's people that were within the RCMP that could have done things differently, that I need to forgive. And you're right, forgiving the judge and
Mm-hmm.
understanding that, you know, um, I always assume people act with knowledge that I don't have any access to, right? So even if I was bitter against the judge and I feel like he was out to get me, at the end of the day, he's making a decision based on factors in his mind that he
Mm-hmm.
sees that I don't know about, things in his past that have happened that led him to being in front of me in that courtroom. All the years that he's gone through, all the things that he's gone through have
Mm-hmm.
led him to the mindset that he has, the decisions that he's made. I don't know any of that. So forgiveness for me is not saying I forgive you, but it's about saying there's things I don't know. So because I'm ignorant to the whole story,
Yeah.
I won't pass judgment on it. So that's kind of what forgiveness means to
Mm-hmm.
me. And it allows me to say authentically, I forgive because I don't know everything. So and that's the same thing I use with my
Very well
father,
said.
right?
Very
My
well
father,
said.
I don't know all the things that went on in his life that led him to say, you know what, I'm gonna be an absentee father. I don't know everything.
Mm,
It hurts, but at the same time, I don't know everything that he went through in his life to lead him to that, making that decision. So forgiveness for me is just pleading ignorance as opposed to saying,
okay.
I forgive you, you know?
And what would you say to someone listening right now who may say feels stuck or broken or believes that life has been unfair to them? What would you say to them?
Hmm. Yeah, if you're out there and you believe that life has broken you, I will say that there are probably things that are in your future that you can't even imagine that could only happen if you're going through what you're going through right now. And this is where faith comes into play, and you
Mm,
have to say to yourself, there must be something that will happen because of this that needs to happen. I could have never foreseen what I'm doing now as
hmm.
part of my life. I didn't even want it. I wanted to be a police officer, but because none of what I'm doing now could have happened without that.
Yep. Totally
And
believe.
so the story
Yeah.
that's been written beforehand had to have been written for me to write the story I'm writing now. And the same goes true for you.
Yeah. I look at that too. I call myself a woman of many hats, right? I've done many, many jobs. You name it, I've practically done it. Okay, except for being a stripper. But anyway, I'm just saying everything has led up to where I'm at today, right? I'm not afraid of an audience because I was in the film industry acting on stage. So I have that, right? I've always been of service and things like that. So but if you ask me, 15, 20 years of age, would I be talking to dead people? No, I wouldn't. I would never. I fell into it basically, but I had to live my life's experience to help me be the person that I am today. And I've had lots of highs and I've had some lots of lows and lots of experiences. And so I'm a firm believer that your past can give you the ingredients of where you are meant to be. But again, if you choose that,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I am going to share with the honest because, like I said, I've been following you a lot lately. And you mentioned faith.
Mhm.
You mentioned you have a friend that you now
Yep.
talk to, that you pray to.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Friend named Jesus is who I pray
Mm-hmm.
to.
Mm-hmm.
I've had an up and down relationship with my faith.
I have no doubt.
My
Mm-hmm.
mother hasn't. My mother's been even keeled. You
Yeah.
know who she is. You know her beliefs. She sends me Bible verses regularly ever since I was a kid. Honestly, she's been
Yeah.
straight through. But I've had my ups and downs. But what I've known and where I've come to now is that my life is better. I have more peace. I have more
Mm.
joy when I rely on the things I know, the example that Jesus led, reading things in the Bible and applying those concepts to my life and talking to God daily and not like
Yeah.
I kneel down and I say official prayers. Like I talk to him like I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
As a
so hey
friend,
God,
as a friend.
hey God, how you doing? Like that,
Yeah.
those types of things, and I try to surrender. I'm still working on what that means exactly to me, but I try to surrender.
Surrendering.
Okay,
Ooh,
you kind of take control. If this is what I'm meant to do, fine, and let's go with it. Right? So it's helped me so much.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know who you should follow?
yeah.
Um, I've been following her for years, actually, since COVID, and she had a huge audience, but it's now shifted. Very well connected. She is now all about Jesus, and
Mhm.
she is trying to get the message out there. She's teaching it. She's actually writing a book with him.
Okay,
So
okay.
there you
What's her
go.
name?
Lori Ladd. I'll spell it for you.
Okay. I'm pretty
LORIELADD.
sure I follow her. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me just write that name down.
Yeah. She is just so raw and so authentic. And I just love that my audience is hearing this right now because I wanted to help spread the mission as well on her behalf
Awesome.
because she did lose a lot of followers. She just all of a
Mhm.
sudden her life has just completely changed. And I've just noticed that you've integrated him more in your posts. And I was just like, oh, I love that, you know?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Because you're being so real, you're being so raw. And you know, that's authenticity to me is the highest frequency that you can walk through in life. So
Oh, I
so
like that. Authenticity is the highest frequency.
yeah.
Man, that's a quotable. I'm taking that one.
Okay. I'll be honored.
Awesome.
Okay. So question for you. If you could sit across from your younger self, the version before all of this happened, what would you tell him?
I would tell that younger version of me along the same lines, um, pray more,
Mm,
surrender more. That's it. Because I think that I've tried to walk my own path for too long, and this is where it led me down the wrong way, and my life is so blessed now because I'm being led as opposed to just leading my own way or walking my own way.
you're such a beautiful human. You know
Oh
that?
no.
You are.
I'm
You
trying
are.
to be better. I'm trying to be
You don't
better.
have to
I've
try.
been no, you know what? I'm going to share this as well. I don't know, maybe someone needs to hear this. There's been times in my life when I haven't treated people well, um, done good things in life.
Hmm.
There's probably people still out there that I haven't treated well that probably still despise me and might look at me and say, "Who is this guy?" You know,
Yeah.
I know who you are or who you were. Some people can only see yesterday's version of you, and doesn't mean you can't change. They say you can't teach an old dog no new tricks or people
Hmm.
don't change. That's not true at all.
I don't believe
You can
that.
change and you don't have to
Yeah.
feel guilty about who you were. Um, that's kind of a lesson that I've
Yeah.
started to learn.
I call it, it's part of the human experience. That's why we're here to have these experiences. And then it's what you do with all those experiences. But at the end of the day, to me, it's all about love, right?
Mm,
And it's loving ourselves and it's loving those that have hurt us knowingly or unknowingly. But most of all, loving ourselves and forgiving ourselves. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and just sharing. I know 30 minutes goes by
I
so
know. It's
quick.
like we're just getting started.
I know. Well, we got the meat and potatoes, right? We got the meat and
Yeah.
potatoes out of that. But if you ever want to come on, back on and share anything that's happening in your life, anything that you want to share for my audience, my platform is here and waiting for you always. Know that, Kwesi.
Okay.
Know
Okay.
that. So
Thank you.
one of these days I may make it out to one of your platforms. You never
Yeah.
know. You
Yeah.
never know. Just
Put it
keep
out there.
doing.
We're doing it.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing and the world will be a better place.
Thank you.
So
You too, my friend. You too.
thank you. It was nice having you.
Thank you.
Okay. Till next time, my friend. Be well. And to my audience, I hope you love this show. I hope there's something that you could take away just from Kwesi's experience. Okay. Thank you for being here and tuning in. Until next time.
I want to thank you for tuning in to Afterlife Cafe TV, connecting hearts, healing souls, and bridging worlds. I'm Helen Peacock, and I am so grateful, yes, it makes my heart sing, that you chose to spend this time here with me. So, to continue the connection, I do invite you to tune in to the Talk Radio every Tuesday at 11 a.m. for new episodes. And you can also visit my website at helenpeacock.ca to find out more about my sessions, group readings, yes, even Zoom group readings, and perhaps some events I may be holding. And also, there will be a course on your psychic development, mediumship development, if you're interested in that. And just know that there are more ways to gather in our Sacred Grounds community, where you can also, again, find me at helenpeacock.ca. So, if this episode touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help the space reach others who may need it too. So, until next time, trust the signs, stay curious, and remember, love never ends. It's just different.